Namaste. I am Balaganapathi Devarakonda, Professor of Philosophy from University of Delhi, India. I am here with the University of West Indies Language, Literature and Philosophy Department as a visiting professor of Indian Council of Cultural Relations, Chair of Indology and Gandhian Studies. That's a wonderful art piece by Natasha Cunningham. Look at the caption that she has given, which is really fascinating. In fact, when I first looked at the picture, I thought, okay, this is good. But when I looked at the caption, I went back to the picture and started really thinking about it, right? Look at the caption. What is the caption? What is said on the veranda never stays on the veranda. It looks to be a very simple statement, but actually it has a lot of meaning embedded in it, which this wonderful artist tries to portray in the picture that we have with us. Let us begin with veranda. What is this veranda? Veranda is a very interesting kind of intersection between the spaces inner and outer. Veranda, in fact, is the one which brings both outer space and inner space together, and that is how it is an interjection. And similarly, look at the word, word that is uttered. Word is language, and language is also an intersection between the self and the outer self. Okay, you use the language to communicate with the other, and that is how it works as an instrument of communicating with the external self. So that also, language also that way tries to bridge the inner and outer. So these two concepts are wonderfully brought out by this great artist in this picture, like showing us the intersection between them. Now, what is the complication in this intersection? The complication of this intersection is when you actually look at your own relations. All these relations that we have in our life or have importance because of the distinction that we have of our inner self and outer self. But what happens if this space or if this distinction collapses? That was the situation during COVID-19, where our outer self and the inner self, which means I am a family man at home, I am a work person at the workspace, and both the spaces have converged and became one. And what will happen in such kind of a situation? The inner space itself becomes the veranda. The language itself becomes something that is spoken, and it is not limited to the space, and it goes beyond. So that is the kind of crisis, that is the kind of concern that the artist has interestingly brought out, which is visible in this wonderful art piece. Have a look at it once again. You will find faces. The faces represent different selves that we are. Okay, it's not that we are one self. We are social selves, we are family selves, we are work selves, we have multiple selves within us, and we still maintain all these selves. So who is the one who holds these selves? That's you basically. Okay, so how do you reach that? You have to manage all these selves within you that you see as the faces that the artist has represented. And the colors are also very interesting to me. Red and black colors, green and yellow colors of these creepers that are presented. In fact, these colors, and also silver when it comes to the fencing, these are also very interesting representations of the self, and how the self is stopped with these silver colors which have sharp edges, right? And how the self is sometimes dark, sometimes with dark colors presented, trying to deal with oneself. So that's another aspect of color symbolism that the artist has wonderfully brought out. Along with that, what I also see is the creepers that I see here and there. I see them to be time, right? The time and colors to be the space, and how time and space bring the self together and also help us in dealing with the multiple selves that exist within us. So this is the kind of symbolism that has brought out by this artist. One last thing that we should remember is the context. The context of this art piece that the artist has presented is pandemic. If you look at the pandemic, our inner selves, like we were limited to our own family spaces and house, domestic spaces, right? We were not going out. But there is a space where you always try to go out and try to interact with the world, which is veranda. So what were you doing during the COVID-19 times? You get into your balcony. Balcony is veranda, right? So you are trying to always peep through the veranda and look at the external world and interact with it, right? And in the process, as I said, putting both the cells, all the multiple cells at one space and trying to deal with that is a kind of major concern, which also caused mental health problems during COVID-19 lockdown time. So that this complexity of situation is very well brought out by this artist, which I really admired.